start with the Technics SL-5 turntable. So I picked this up just recently, actually just a couple of days ago. I was just looking through the site where I buy all this stuff, and just on a whim saw it. Price was pretty low. It looked, from the photos, looked in pretty good condition. The description was basically that it was, just something they had hanging around. They weren't sure whether it worked or not because they didn't have any records. So again, I kind of think this might be, some old sort of deceased estate or some kind of clear out. People finally getting around to clearing out old stuff. So anyway, I thought, well, it's worth a go at the price that they were asking. So it's in pretty good nick. There's no cracks in this plastic. Everything is where it should be. The silver paint was a bit dirty. Been sitting around for a few years in someone's house, obviously, and maybe they smoked, maybe they didn't, I don't know. But it cleaned up fairly easily. If we open it up and have a look inside, it's actually pretty good. The rubber is still nice. It's got some life in it. It's flexible. It's soft. There's no broken bits and pieces. Everything's where it should be. The needle's there. I've actually even managed to play a record with it. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the overall condition is quite good. It's quite nice. It's a nice compact unit, and was not expensive. So how could I refuse? So anyway, I've got it now, and I did try to play a record after I got it. It made a lot of pops and groans and crackles and all the rest of it. It sounded terrible. It was only coming out through one channel. Opened it up. I replaced, there's half a dozen capacitors inside that I actually had replacements for. So I replaced those, and yeah, there's one missing. But there's still 3 more to go. Now, the three remaining consist of 2 bipolar 100 microfarad capacitors, which I just don't have any of, and 1000 UF axial. So once I get replacements for those, I think this will be good to go. Now, one more thing that I'm going to do is in here where the mechanism is, there's a small belt. Now that's been obviously sitting there for a long time, and it just has the shape of the pulleys on it now, so it works, but it'll probably be a little bit smoother or nicer if we can replace that. Then what I want to do is lubricate and clean the shafts in there, and I'll re-grease. There's a worm drive and just a normal gear set. So we'll just lubricate it all up, clean it up, and I think it'll be good. Platter spins quite nicely, so I've also pulled the shaft out and re-oiled it and put it back in, cleaned it out. It's pretty gunky, the old oil dries out, so just get rid of it. But aside from that, it spins nicely, and everything works the way it's supposed to. Even better, I was quite encouraged by the fact that it actually plays a record, and I actually listened to a full record before. This needle, I found someone selling basically a new old stock, one that they bought years ago. It's still in the original box, completely unused, unopened, with the original factory seal around it. And it was, quite cheap, probably about a quarter of the price of buying a new replacement. So I picked that up. So that should be arriving in a couple of days, and yeah, there you go, EPS 24CS. So anyway, occasionally bits and pieces for these still pop up, although they keep making new replacement parts for these. I don't think they've ever really stopped, to be honest. There's quite a demand for record players here in Japan, so the companies that make this stuff, I think, just continued making them. So that's kind of the overview. There'll be a little bit more to add once I get those final capacitors and that last belt. I might detail a little bit more, about the cleaning process and just setting that up. Anyway, I'll leave it there, and we'll come back in a day or two once I've got those other parts and get it all fitted.